Well, hey, everybody, it's Casey Jaycox with the Quarterback Dadcast. We're in season 5, and we're on video for those watching us on YouTube. For those in the car or in the gym or taking a walk wherever you are, thank you for listening today. This next guest is someone I'm very excited to talk to, not because I'm a quarterback and I want to take care of my offensive lineman. And this guy is by far the biggest offensive lineman I've ever seen. No offense to my guys back at Central Washington. But his name is Marques Ogden. And this episode happens today because of the kind introduction from Leslie Vickrey. So Marques is a Howard Bison. He's a former NFL offensive lineman, spent 5 or 6 years in the league. And what I'm most excited about our conversation today, not only is to learn about him and his past, but how he's working hard to become that ultimate quarterback and leader of his home. And I think to dads, please, if you don't have a piece of paper, get one and get ready to take some notes, because you're going to learn about adversity. You're going to learn about resilience and grit, and just having a positive mindset about someone who just does not quit. So without further ado, Mr. Ogden, welcome to the Quarterback Dadcast.
Thanks a lot, kids. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good. Well, we always start out each episode with gratitude. So tell me, what are you most grateful for as a dad today?
I'm grateful for both of my girls. I got divorced. I filed for divorce in July 2022. Unexpected. It wasn't something I was planning on or wanting to do. And I have a now 20-year-old stepdaughter. I've been in her life since she was 8. So I divorced her mom, not her. And then I have a 10-year-old daughter. And I haven't seen her for 9 days because we have like 5 for her mom. We go 2, 2, 5. And so I had my 5 normal days, but then I had my normal days of Monday, Tuesday of this week. I was in Las Vegas delivering a big keynote for a client. So I was not able to see her. And so now I have her now. And it's awesome because now, her and the babysitter are going to go do some carving while I'm doing this. And then we're going to go and do some stuff for the front porch. And we're going to do like some things. And this weekend, we got a whole weekend planned. So without a doubt, I'm grateful for both my daughters.
So cool. I love it. What I'm most grateful for today is, a couple things. One, we got homecoming weekend, and at my daughter's high school, she's got those festivities. I got my mom in town. I'm actually going to be traveling next week, so I got a speaking thing in Nashville, so I'll be going there. But I'm also grateful for my son Marques, who's a freshman in college, and just the journey. As you can probably remember, as an athlete, the ups, the downs, the days you're like, man, is this ever going to figure this stuff out? And just it's so fun watching his growth. It's so fun, like having now like big time mature conversations, and him saying, "Man, Dad, thank you so much. I love you. This is super helpful. Thanks again tonight." And so it's like, it's so fun just watching this evolution of our relationship. And I'm like, when I talk to him, I'm so present and grateful in those moments. And I just like even talking about now, it just kind of gives me goosebumps and that great feeling inside my heart. So.
Love it, man. I love that. Yeah, like I said, with my daughter 20 and in college, having those same type of conversations. She's a junior, and with my daughter 10. So I'm right there with you.
Well, let's go inside the Ogden huddle. I want to learn a little bit more about your daughters. Tell me what lights them up. What are their like things that like bring them joy in life?
So Ava, my 20-year-old, she is big into fashion. She used to be much into like technology when she was younger, more to herself, more introverted. She's still kind of an introvert now, but she's much more outgoing than she ever was. She is studying nursing at NYU. She loves it. She earned a full scholarship for this upcoming for the year she's in now, which was fantastic. And I'm just proud of her and what she does. She's very much wants to help people. She's great with her little sister. Her sister Farah is 10. Farah is very bright. She likes school and math and reading, and she's very sensitive, likes to help other people, very caring, likes to try to take care of the little kids, likes to try to have engaging conversations with the older kids. She's very much into sports. Farah is. She's playing basketball. She has tried soccer. She has tried volleyball. She has tried baseball. And, I think as she gets older, I think her sport will probably be basketball. I can coach her a little bit in that and help her in that area. I have a lot of expertise there. I play football, but of course I play basketball and I have a lot of friends that I play with now in the Raleigh area that were college players. Some guys played some pro, some semi-pro. We even have J. Cole, the music star, who comes and plays with us sometimes in Raleigh as well, which is pretty cool. So again, both my daughters are alike in a lot of ways. And then Ava is not into sports at all. I mean, she's trying to learn football because her boyfriend likes it and trying to teach her, which is great as a dad, all that kind of good stuff.
Yep.
But again, Ava's more like, into fashion, into like, the Manhattan scene. She's done a really nice job again, but keeping her grades really, really high, but still enjoying her time in college. And Farah, great student. She's gifted in those gifted programs that they have for for elementary schoolers, and she'll be in middle school next year.
So as an O lineman, so like my O lineman when I at Central Washington, they called themselves the Brotherhood, the O line Brotherhood. I don't know if you guys ever did that, but like
Of
as
course.
a member, as a big guy up front, your daughter bang the boys, a little work on the post game, or is she going to be a little outside game?
Oh, total banger. Get in there, rebounder. I mean, I'm almost 6'6". Her uncle's 6'9".
Damn.
We've got some height. She's, not afraid of, getting in there. What I'm trying to teach her is how to, keep her head up while she dribbles and how to pass and be more, kind of see the court better. But she's definitely a banger, and she loves to get in there. And she's, like I said, she's tall, and she's, likes to, just have fun and hang around the basket. So without a doubt, she's kind of more like a Charles Barkley kind of a player in that regard.
Love it. Well, my daughter's a junior in high school. She's a hooper. I don't know where she gets her basketball skills. Definitely not for me. I mean, I played until like ninth grade, and uh, I was like the quarterback that squeezed every ounce of athletic ability out of me to keep playing in college. But that's what's fun. Like my son's a college golfer, and my daughter's now aspiring hope to play in college hoop. But she's like a
Nice.
5'4", really good shooter, but scrappy. There's a loose ball, she's going head first, and it's just I don't know. I love having a tough daughter. It's the best. It is the
Oh
best.
yeah, man. Because when they're tough in sports, that I believe they're going to be tough in life. They're going to
Yeah.
be gritty. They're going to get after it. They're going to go after what they want. They're going to keep digging, and not take no for an answer. So when you have a daughter like that, that's awesome because again, that's all about what us dads want. We want our daughters to have a lifestyle that they can do when, like, when they leave the house, grow up, get married, all that. They can take care of themselves. Of course, I want them to find, a mate and all that and a partner, but I want my daughters to be able to take care of themselves so they don't have to rely on somebody else. They can rely on themselves first. And that's the most important thing as a dad.
Amen, man. Well, one question I always ask my guests is to kind of really rewind the tape and take me back to what life was like growing up for Marques and share with me some of the values that were really important to you that you now share with both of your daughters.
So for me, we grew up also in a single parent household, single dad. My brother Jonathan Ogden is the Ravens' first draft pick ever. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer in the NFL. He played his whole 12-year career with the Baltimore Ravens. And growing up in our house, when our mom left us and our dad stepped up and raised us, you're talking about a quarterback dad. Three things were important: respect yourself, okay, respect women, and education over sports. So I teach my girls respect themselves, right? Respect men who they're going out with or who they're interacting with, and make sure that man respects them. And education over sports. Now, luckily with Ava, she's not really into sports, but Farah does enjoy sports. So I'm always pushing with her education, school, reading. I don't really have to push her like that. It's just more like encouraging her because sometimes she'll get frustrated, like, math things or reading things, stuff like that. And I'm always going to help her kind of work through that, talk through that. And also, Farah is a little bit sensitive because of the divorce. I mean, we're divorced, I think it'll be final. It's a year next month because in our state of North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year and then the divorce becomes official and final. So in reality, it's only been a year finalized. And so Farah has had some trouble adjusting to not having both her parents at the house. And, like she doesn't like me to, I'm not allowed to date in her mind anyway. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, man. I mean, it's hard,
Mhm.
because I was the same with my dad. Like, and I didn't really like my dad dating a whole lot. Now that I think about it, then as I got older, I was like, man, I'm like, okay, I see why you and mom divorced. Got it. And then I wanted him to date, but unfortunately, my dad never remarried, which I wish he had, because I was hoping. I mean, he dated, and he was engaged, but I really liked, but it just didn't work out, unfortunately. So,
Mm.
what I'm really wanting my daughters to know is that it's about respecting themselves, respect whomever they're dating, and vice versa. Make sure they
Yeah.
respect them as well, and then education over everything else. Because if you have a great education, you will always be in a position to win.
Now that's gold. It's ironic. I'm reading a book right now about. I usually read a lot of nonfiction business books, but I'm reading a book on World War II and concentration camps called "The Happiest Man Alive," and it is. I can't put the thing down. And part of the book, I mean, just what this guy went through is just like it can't even be. It
I
can't
can't
even,
imagine. I can't imagine.
dude. It's like I can't even. You're right. I just can't imagine. So in this book, his dad talked to him about education, and he said education will save your life. And literally, at one point, he was about to go to another concentration camp, and he ended up somehow getting out of it because he was at the hospital because he got thrown a rock, hit his face, blood everywhere. He's getting stitches, and he saw one of these machines that his dad used to fix and make. And as he walked by the hospital, he told the neurosurgeon, he goes, "Oh, this is that machine." And the doctor's like, "How do you know?" He's like, "Oh, because I used to make those things." He's like, do you know how to fix them, or can you make more?" He goes, "Yeah." And so like, if he didn't learn to do that at a young age, he said he would have been dead so much earlier. And anyway, so if like anybody looking for a good book, it's called Happiest Man on Earth. It is. I'm like halfway through. I only started it yesterday. And it's like amazing.
Wow.
Um, so respect yourself, respect men or women, and then education over sports. Like
Yep.
easier said than done. But I love those. Those are fantastic. How before I dive in a little bit those more, tell me, is your dad still with us?
No, he passed away in 2006. I actually spoke last Saturday in Houston, Texas, for the Living Bank for their 55th annual gala, talking about like living organ donor awareness,
Hmm.
about how living donors could be giving kidneys or spleens, whatever the case may be. So it's more about donor awareness education. And I spoke there honoring his legacy. So yeah, he passed
Hmm.
away in 2006.
Man, I'm sorry. Well, we have that in common too. My dad passed away December 29th, 2021.
Wow.
I was lucky enough to be there for his last breath. But it was, people who've listened to the podcast, season 3 was dedicated all to him. And so I know what it's like. But what did your dad do? So I mean,
My dad, when he was working in his younger days, worked in the banking industry. So he was the first African American bank manager for the Federal Home Loans Bank of New York in their DC office. So he was all about helping, people, and he was leading teams of all races, all ethnicities, all diverse backgrounds. And, our dad was a true champion about change. He was doing things, he was actually doing diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging and inclusivity, and creating psychologically safe environments before it was even being talked about like it is today. Like there's DEIB, which is a great initiative, absolutely awesome. But our dad was doing that before it was even talked about.
wow. It's funny. That's awesome that he did that. And it's awesome that, I want to talk. I got to make sure I connect you to a guy who impacted me in 2020. A guy named Dale Favors. I don't know if you know that name.
I don't, but I'd love to meet him.
Oh, Marcus. He taught me more about diversity in 2020, right in the heart of the social unrest, Black Lives Matter movement. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he is, I consider, one of my great friends of life and someone I look up to. Even though I've only spent, I'd say, 10 hours with in my life in person. I feel like I've known him my whole life. And he opened my eyes to many different things, specifically just around understanding the word privilege in 2020. I say this like, I used to be embarrassed to say this, but I'm not anymore. This is what it is. Like I used to be like a white person that would say, man, privilege, I worked my ass off. I had to squeeze every ounce of athletic ability out of me. And he's like, you don't get it. And
No, and what he's saying, Casey, is that as a white man, right, as a white male, you have more privilege and opportunity than other people who are not white males, right? And that's just the way that it is because in big business, most of big business is run by white males. And doesn't mean that they don't want to give opportunity to blacks or whomever. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is privilege is when people tend to like kind of gravitate naturally to people that look like them,
yep,
talk like them, act like them. And that's just human nature. And so what's very important is understanding that like you're doing now from that perspective. And what I do is I understand that as well, but I don't allow it to be an excuse for me not to go out and get what I want in life either. So just because I don't have the same skin tone as you do, maybe the same background you do, maybe some of the same opportunities you do,
yep,
doesn't mean I can't create my own. Doesn't mean I
yeah,
can't go after what I want in life. So when I hear privilege, that's true to some degree for some people, if depending upon where you are or what you're
yep,
from, right? That's true. But at the end of the day, privilege doesn't mean that you as a person who's not quote unquote privileged can't still have what you want. It just means you have to kind of go another way sometimes, another lane, another alley, another turn. And that's, I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, like
yeah,
now, again, for me, like when our podcast started, our podcast, which is now in the top 0.5% most popular worldwide, a lot of people who weren't athletes weren't really going to coming on our show. I mean, again, so that's because I'm an African American, I interview a lot of my athlete brotherhood in the beginning because I knew them, I was comfortable with them, I was just starting out, I didn't know how to hold conversation, I didn't know to have the back and forth dialogue like I do now, and so I wasn't as polished as I am now. But now, 2.5 years going forward, I can interview anybody. Like I interviewed Sebastian Bach, formerly singer of Skid Row, a couple weeks ago,
damn,
Scott Page from Pink Floyd, to David Archuleta, former, he was on American Idol, came in second to Kelly Clarkson, all these type of people, because I have learned how to just be a better communicator and be able to connect with people from all backgrounds, from all different types and different ways of life.
wow, I love that. One thing I just finished on that thought about privilege is so like one of the things that he talked about and grow and helped me grow, because I mean when I was in college I played with Hawaiians, Samoans, African Americans, but I wasn't curious or patient enough, um, Marcus, to slow down and ask more questions about like, hey, what was life like for you, man? We were just like I mean we were teammates and balling and doing our thing, and he really made me stop. And after, like in season 2 and season 3, I went and interviewed every teammate I could think of that didn't look like me, and I wanted to just get curious. And I asked them questions, and they were like so grateful. And to me, it was just like it was almost like this relief of like, man, how did I not do this earlier? But without Dale, that doesn't get unlocked. And like I always, I'm 48 years old. I'll never solve racism when I'm alive, but if I can put a dent into it, and just chip away and just open people's eyes and look at things differently. And the most beneficial part of Dale when I met him was I interviewed him in the height of Black Lives Matter, right when it was like things were tense for everybody. And I said, I want to interview you live on YouTube. We're going to do this thing, and I want to know from a white dad talking to a black dad, like, what's it like to be a dad right now? Like, what are you saying to your kids during this social unrest? He's like, let's do it. And I just said, I asked for your grace. Like, I don't know what I'm going to say, but I just want to go in as vulnerable as possible. And it was the best thing, man. It was like I invited my mom, my stepdad, my former athlete teammates. I invited coaches who have coached me. I just wanted to impact as many people as we could. So anytime I get a chance to talk about Dale, obviously he's a close to my heart, and I just love giving the guy love because I think the world of him. So anyway, I know that's not what we're here to talk about, but you like sparked it when you were telling your story. So okay, so respect respect yourself, respect men and women, educate over sports. You get to college. Um, your dad, banker, paving the way for many, setting an example, doing great things. You get to Howard, you get to the league, and then after that, life starts hitting you in the face a little bit.
Yeah, so I end up having a really hard time adjusting after the NFL. And then I finally got off the couch and stopped, looking for people to hand me stuff and say, "Hey, I was feeling privileged for being an athlete. Why don't you want to work with me? Why don't you want to help me? I'm a retired NFL player. You should want me around." Well, that's doesn't mean anything. That's retired. That's not who I am now. That's who I was. And so many people focus on who they were and not who they are. And so I finally got into who I was, and I started Caden Premier Enterprises. We became the largest African American owned subcontractor in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland for 2 years in site work, earthwork, concrete, demolition. We crushed it. But unfortunately, I didn't have my dad around to help keep me in check, to respect myself. I didn't hire a business coach, which I should have. And my ego just got enormous. It got monstrous. It became Marques, Marques, and more about Marques. And because of that, Casey, I ended up making a lot of mistakes, treating my people poorly, and I ended up losing everything that I owned in 2013 because I made a mistake of trusting a client, contractor, developer that I shouldn't have. I did about $3 million of work. My developer's change order that I put in for it, they denied it because it wasn't signed, which was my fault. And then 2 days before Christmas in 2012, the bank tells me they're shutting down my line and it's over.
Wow.
Done. All of my lines of credit, my equipment line, everything froze, stopped, shut down. And oh, by the way, they were saying at the beginning of January 2013, they were going to come after whatever they could. So basically,
Damn.
that was 2 days before Christmas. I was told that. So I had Christmas that year knowing I was about to lose everything. January that year, I had to start trying to pack things up, try to do things quietly and get out of Dodge. And finally got out of Dodge April 2013, moved to Raleigh, had $400 to my name, and that's all I had. And I
Wow.
literally was bankrupt. I was broke. I was almost homeless. I was so broke. I was so destitute. I had $400 to my name. I couldn't even pay the bankruptcy full fee of $3,300 to take care of that, to protect me from $5.5 million of debt. I had to piecemeal it. And I finally got in a position to get it paid off in September 2013. And that's when I hit rock bottom after being fired from 2 jobs in the same week. I worked as a custodian downtown Raleigh, and I had my rock bottom moment with somebody's trash, nasty, maggot filled garbage gets all over me on my ship. And I clean myself up and I cry on a curb right by that trash can. And I realized that I had no accountability, no responsibility in my life for my people, for myself, for my business. I was all about everything: money, fame, notoriety. I was not about giving value to people. I wasn't about relationships. I wasn't about helping people. And it cost me everything. And after
Wow.
that moment, that's when I said, I got to do better. I got to get my life together. And I started trying to speak in September 2013. Didn't get a paid job until April 2016. Got that paid job, got coached, got developed, made some great relationships. And then next thing you know, now what's that, 8 years, 8.5 years since our first paid job. We worked for over 70 Fortune 500 brands as a
Wow.
speaker, four-time best-selling author, and actually we're about to be part of another book that could probably be an international bestseller. And then I have a podcast, speaking, coaching, consulting. But then again, everything was going well. Then I got divorced in 2022. Had to move into an apartment November 1st, 2022. Dilapidated, broken down, garbage infested, just absolutely nasty and atrocious. Moved into that apartment. And for about 2.5 months, I was just in a horrible mental state. January of 2023, I said, enough's enough. I got to get myself back into what I do well: my business, my relationships, my people, my network, dug in. And then I bought my dream home May of 2023. Excuse me. I bought my home May of 2023, and now business is better. I'm having healthy relationships, and I'm just about helping people move forward in their life.
How well, Jesus, man, my talk about you've had enough adversity. Don't be signing up for any more. I mean, damn. What So, everybody's different. Some people have, whether it's faith, higher power, they're either the religious, spiritual. Some people have therapy. For the dad at home that's struggling, that's listening to this, and they're like, damn, I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out of it. Like, can you think back to what was those first steps to get you out of that mindset to reverse your tracks?
First thing I did was I really thought about what is my talent or my craft, right, that I can do well, right? Pursuing your passion is great, but sometimes pursuing your passion, you may not be good at it. So if you're not really good at it, it's hard to sustain it. So I really realized that, I was struggling and I was down in the dumps and I was just feeling blue, that I was really good at communicating, really good at communicating. And so that's when I said, okay, let's try to start speaking. So that was a talent that I had. Now, of course, I was raw. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I struggled, right? But there's a great quote by Rutherford B. Hayes. Every expert was once a beginner. And so that's what I realized is I
Love it.
had to go through the struggles, the trials, the tribulations to get where I'm at today. So if you're a dad that's struggling, figure out what is your talent. What is your craft that you're good at? And then lean into that. Don't focus on what you're not good at. Think about and focus on what you are good at. And then as you perfect that talent and that craft and you get more passionate about it, then you're in what I call the zone. Because then you're doing what you love from a craft perspective or a talent perspective. Then you're passionate about it. Then after that, boom. Again, like me, like I started speaking 2013, 11, almost a little over 11 years ago. I didn't make a dime for the first 2.5 years. Now I do well, but again, I was always chasing, I was always pursuing my talent, which then eventually, within very quick amount of time, became my passion.
So good. I think, and I believe everything you said, because I believe everybody on this earth has a gift, and we all have gifts and talents. Um, Sometimes the mind can be the biggest asset. It also can be the biggest weakness, because sometimes we love that the self talk kicks in. A lot of the work I do my coaching around is mindset work for people. But one of the things I love you said is just, if you're a dad at home, listen, embrace that, what Marcus said, because you do have a gift, and you do have something positive to say. And I hope the one thing that's hitting everybody in the face and slowing us down is Marcus's vulnerability is so inspiring, because it's easy to be able to say, to not want to talk about these things, but we're all flawed, every one of us on this earth. And I always like to say, might as well stay humble, because life's going to humble us anyways. Um,
Amen.
so one thing I'd love to know is, for how do you stay, like, from the journey you've been through, how do you stay now humble to go down this path, because you're rolling now?
That's real easy, my good friend. When you lose everything, you appreciate everything.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
I do very well financially. We as a brand do very well. I'm the same guy.
Love it.
Same guy. I'm not going to change. I don't care if I'm speaking in front of 10,000 people like I was in Vegas, or if I'm going to Destin, Florida for a huge mastermind with like high, ultra net worth dentists that are all 7, 8 figure people. I have a 7 figure business, but I don't act like it. I don't carry myself. I carry myself as just an individual who is proud of who he is, where he's come from, and his journey. And when you lose everything, you appreciate everything.
No, I
And it
love it.
doesn't matter to me what I make, what I do. Like, we're building this super awesome mindset community, and so many people want to be a part of it. So many. It could do so many great things, helping so many people, all types of financial opportunity. Like it's endless. No matter how big it gets, I'm still the same guy. So again, when you lose everything, you appreciate everything.
Love it. I went through a lot of adversity when I was 17 years old in sports. I had a big injury, and a lot of times I've talked about this on this podcast before, but just the spirit of time, I won't go into it. But like that's kept me humble my whole life. And then in my corporate career, Marques, I remember that I was a part of a deal, one of the biggest deals in our company history, and then it fell apart like 3 months later. Nothing that I did or didn't do. It was a budget shit show from a client I was working with. And the vice president I worked with, he said, Case, the day you won it, the day you lost it, you're the same dude. Thank you. And when I hear that stuff, that inspires me and motivates me more than anything. So I love that the universe has brought us together because I think we think alike along those same lines. Um, curious, have you shared, how much of your story have you shared with your girls?
My 20-year-old knows everything. I mean, Farah knows a little because she actually heard me speak in
Mm,
Phoenix. But at 10, I mean, she gets it, but not. But Ava knows everything. Like when we moved here, how broke we were, how hard it was, how we had no money, how I was fired from 2 jobs, how I had to start over. Ava knows it all. Ava knows it all, and she even knows why we divorced. We had that conversation, and that was not easy. And it was nice because she didn't believe me at first. I'm like, no, that's what happened. And
mm,
she just didn't want to believe it. And then once she found it was true, then she's like, okay, Dad, I'm sorry, and this, that, and the other. So with my 20-year-old, it's no holds barred. One of my favorite horrible 80s movies with Hulk Hogan in it is No Holds Barred. And it's with my girls, it's no holds barred, especially Ava. And Farah,
mm.
she knows all things business wise. I haven't talked to her about the divorce, like she's a little young for that.
Yeah.
But business wise, what I've gone through and the struggles and all that, oh yeah, Farah is very aware. Maybe not to the magnitude, of like comprehension full for 10, but she knows that Daddy lost a lot of his money and Daddy had to start over and Daddy was like poor and all that kind of stuff. Yep.
Oh, well, I'm sorry you've always ever had to go through these struggles, man. But you are your story is it's not surprising me why you're having success on the speaker circuit. It's not surprising why people want to hear you talk, and because I think I've talked to you now twice, but you are as real as they get, my man, and it's inspiring for others. And I hope that other dads at home can take some from our conversation, specifically the things your dad taught you. Now that you're teaching your daughters, and I just think that there's always a way to make a shitty day today better tomorrow. I always say the sun's going to come up tomorrow, whether you, and no matter how bad today is, the best part about tomorrow, it's a new day.
It's a new day. I mean, honestly, I had 3 sales calls. All of them got pushed. One got pushed to Monday, trying to close for a sponsor. One got pushed to next Thursday. One didn't even take my call. I saw her in Vegas. We had a great conversation. I thought she was excited. I called her. No show. Okay, that's today. Tomorrow, new day, right? And that's what I tell people: mindset, the ability to condition your mind to believe what your heart knows is achievable. One of my favorite quotes on mindset from Bruce Lee: don't tell yourself, don't tell your mind negative thoughts in a joking manner. Your body cannot dissimulate the difference.
Gold. Well, let me give you five. Let me give you some more stuff where we can share our wisdom together that people taught us. So I teach like sales teams and corporations. I teach my kids this, but I said, have you ever heard people swearing like MF or F, or you hear some bad words? I said, I'm gonna teach you 5 new swear words, which is need to, should to, want to, have to, and can't. Those are the worst swear words ever because they create anxiety. They don't create a plan. And I use this, I like telling stories because I think it connects thoughts together. So I imagine like how often would you jump in an airplane with a pilot and says, and after you take off, he or she gets on the mic around 10,000 feet, and they're like, man, hey, welcome to flight 123. Hey man, I should file a flight plan. I need to do that. Yeah, I got to get going on that. And you'd be like, what the hell? I'd be freaked out, but it's like,
Amen.
why do we let our minds do that? And so like I like teaching the power of I will and writing it down so we can see it. And
Vision.
so I think so much about that is about just like setting expectations and seeing the growth. So I love that your mindset too. Okay, I know we got to get wrapped up here because you got to get going. But how how can I help people find you? What's
Great question, my friend. We have an app called the Marques Ogden app. MarquesOgden. Go to your app store on your Apple or Android phone, type it in, bam. You can follow us to our website, which is www.marquesogden.com. You can shoot me an email, marcus@marquesogden.com. You can connect with us on social, on LinkedIn, it's Marques Ogden, Instagram @Marques Ogden, Facebook, Marques Ogden. We love to communicate and to connect with amazing people that just want to share and just want to help others succeed.
Love it. All this will be tagged in the show notes. Before we get into the fun lightning round, which I go really random on you and show the negative hits to take, including hits, not bong hits, but football hits in college. If you were to summarize what we talked about today, Marques, that dads can take, other than the great advice you talked about, respect yourself, respect men or women, and education over sports. If you had to summarize kind of two or three themes that dads can take from our conversation to really check themselves, look themselves in the mirror, and be that ultimate quarterback or leader of their home, tell me what comes to mind.
I'm just going to tell you one thing, Casey, because it all sums up in one aspect.
Love it.
Bet on yourself.
Let's go.
Bet on you. Anytime you bet on you, you can always win. Anytime you don't bet on yourself, don't believe in yourself, don't have confidence in yourself, you are going to end up not getting what you want in life. So this conversation was all about bet on you.
Love it, man. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, everybody, you see the believe sign behind me. There's a little Ted Lasso theme, but I ask myself often, sit through self-talk, do you believe what you do matters? And when you believe what you do matters, it gives you this unlocked superpowers. And I love that you brought up the word believe again, which again, to me is serendipitous that we met. So thank you. Okay, lightning round. My job is to ask you questions quickly. My job is to try to get you to laugh. Your job is to not laugh and answer these questions as quickly as you can.
Let's do it.
Okay. True or false, once at Howard, you kicked a 48-yard field goal?
False.
I almost laughed at that one because I just the visual of you doing that. True or false, you hit the sled earlier today?
False.
Okay. True or false, you hold the deadlift record at Howard by 1,200 pounds?
False.
Okay. If I went into your phone right now, what would be the one song that might shock your daughters?
Ooh. It Ain't My Fault by Silk the Shocker.
Okay. If I came to the house tonight, what would we have for dinner?
Spaghetti.
Oh, I love spaghetti. Meatballs?
Yes.
Nice. I bet it would be, being an old lineman, you're going to feed me well.
For sure.
If you were to take the girls on vacation right now, where would we go?
Cabo, Mexico.
Okay. I love Cabo. If there was to be a book written about your life, tell me the title.
Mindset Matters.
Mindset Matters. All right. Now, Marques, Mindset Matters. I know you know this because you believe, but this book's selling out everywhere. Every airport, every bookstore cannot keep this book on the shelves. And so now Netflix has found out about it and they're going to make a movie. And you are the casting director. I need to know who's going to star Marques Ogden in this new hit.
Oh, that's easy. Denzel Washington.
Denzel. I love Denzel. Okay. And then last question. Tell me two words that would describe your daughters.
Brilliant, kind.
Brilliant and kind. All right. Lightning round's over. I giggled at my own jokes, that's what dads do. We laugh at our own stuff, but at least someone laughed at it. It's been an honor spending time with you. My cup is filled. I'm grateful for you, what you're doing in the world, man. And when I started this podcast nearly 5.5 years ago, the goal was to have vulnerable conversations and remind dads, no matter if you're an NFL player, corporate guy like me, turned entrepreneur, our kids really don't care. What they care about is, are you the best dad possible? Can you get me to Susie's house? Can we go get ice cream? Hey, can we go take a walk? Hey, can we go see that new movie? And so it's reminding dads, stay humble, stay vulnerable, stay curious. And you are leading from the front, brother. I want to say thank you so much. And I'm grateful for our time together today.
Thanks for having me on, my friend. It was awesome.